All right, and we're live in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hey guys, you're listening to another episode of You're Human, and I'm Dakota Meyer. This is episode 34. This is the only call-in show where nothing's off the table, where you can call in, you can say what you want, we can have a discussion, and we're going to leave friends no matter what. It's about getting rid of the echo chambers. Had a conversation about it this morning, and that's what this show is about. If you want to call in, call in. The lines are open. It's 512-523-5609.
How you doing, sir?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing all right. Yeah, hanging in there.
Knives just got back from Minnesota.
Yes, sir.
What are you doing, Knives?
Just working, working with dentists. It's really interesting stuff.
There's a shit ton of dentists up there.
Yeah, I worked at a company that creates dentures, like they 3D print and all that. It's really interesting stuff. Yeah. And they need content, so I was out there.
Dang.
Yes, sir. What about you? Where were you? I think I saw that you were in Dallas.
Well, I just went up to Dallas. Should have a website up tonight for Dash Hydrate. I was up at Dallas. Actually, went by Toyota, one of our great partners, and spent some time with them. I got to go up to the headquarters, talk to the team, talk about what 2024 looks like going forward. So was up there. And then I swung by Western Packaging, who is doing our packaging for the new Dash Hydrate product that's coming out. It'll be live in the next few days, hopefully, maybe by Monday. Some products in. It will be shipping before January 1st, I'll tell you that. So really excited to kick the new year off with this project that has taken forever to get right. But when good isn't your standard and great is what, the bottom of the standard is, it takes a minute. So yeah, really looking forward to that.
How excited are you to launch this product, man? I mean, I've tried it. It's an incredible product. I can't wait to get my hands on it.
Yeah. I'm really excited. I'm really excited to launch it. I'm really excited to get it out there. It's, by far the most exciting project I've ever been on and that I am looking forward to. There's so many pieces of it that just get me fired up. So I'm really excited to launch this new product. And then we've got other products already in the queue to come behind it that we're developing right now. And, it's, we're coming out with our daily drinker first. So really excited about that.
Got a question here from IG, kind of in the same vein of what we're talking about. What are your goals for 2024?
To get Dash Hydrate off the ground, like I want, Dash Hydrate, I want everybody drinking Dash Hydrate. It is the most comprehensive hydration formula that's going to hit the market. When I tell you the thought that's behind this, the standard, it's really, there's a lot of great products out there, but for me, it's about the standard. It's about maintaining that standard of excellence, of giving a product that, I want to give more value than what people pay for it. And that's ultimately what, the focus has been on this. So really excited about that. I've got this Ironman coming up. I literally just got out of the pool. I mean, if you could see my pants right now, it's my pool pants. But just got out of the pool, rode my bike this morning. And then, launching this new book next year, Why to What coming out, and 2024 is the year. 2024 is going to be the year. And so just really to go out and impact people, positively, right? There's nothing more exciting than creating products that are going to help people, right? Like I've always, every product that we've ever created has always been something that I wanted to impact people, right? But what I think the difference in this versus everything else I've launched is this is actually going to, the Dash Hydrate is going to make you feel better. It's going to make you hydrated. It's going to, there's so many factors to it that not only it's not how you interpret it. It's ultimately going to make you a better person. And then, and then the book that's coming out, it's really, really exciting, especially, you worry about it because you write the book and you get it all dialed in and your thoughts make sense to you, but you just don't know how other people are going to interpret them. And so like I sent them out to some of my really close friends who are critical and who are people who I look up to, and their feedback has blown me away. So really, really, it's like another level of excitement behind that. So yeah, I mean, that's what the first 6 months looks like. The first 6 months is that, I'm really evaluating partnerships right now of, what that looks like, really considering looking at podcast options of like how to do it. Like, how do we amplify this podcast? Do we start doing interviewing people? People are reaching out to me like, why aren't you interviewing people? You should interview people, blah, blah, blah. So just really trying to get trying to up the content game, because no matter what, like you got to be able to market yourself, and you got to be able to get your message out there, and you got to get it to where people listen to it, and that's something that I am not very good at, because it's just, I hate talking about myself. And so being able to talk about these products is going to be pretty easy, I think. And so just being able to get it in the hands of people, and that's ultimately what the goal of, let's say the first 6 months of next year looks like.
2024, man, own the dash.
2024 is about owning the dash.
You guys are crushing it. It's so exciting. Got another question from Instagram. What do you think makes a meaningful life?
I think what makes a meaningful life is what the sum of outcomes of the impact that you left on people. Like, I don't think it's how much money you had. Like, you could be the richest person ever and still be a piece of shit, right? Like, this is one thing I love about Elon Musk. Everything Elon Musk does is for the greater good of humanity. Like, that guy makes money and doesn't have to keep working, but what he does is for the greater good of humanity. And like, I gotta tell you, my respect level, I've been watching a lot of his stuff lately, and I've been listening to him talk, and my respect level for people like him is through the roof, right? Like, you look at Megyn Kelly, I'm so glad just to see, and that's why I'm looking at my partnerships, right? Like, I've watched these people, you've kind of seen, these two people for sure, just like crush these handcuffs of sponsorships and people and networks, owning them, telling them what the fuck to do. And I gotta tell you, you talk about pioneers of watching, these two human beings, like, say, fuck it, I don't care how much you pay me. Like, sponsorships, like, you're not, like, there's not enough money to keep me from doing what's for the greater good of the world. And like, man, so what do I think is what was it?
Makes a meaningful life.
What I think makes a meaningful life is the level of impact that you have on bringing people or inspiring people or empowering people to do good, right? Like, that's the ultimate goal of what we all do.
How do you make it past living day to day? Like, how did you rediscover your purpose?
Well, the way that I rediscovered my purpose was I had to start challenging what I thought my purpose was. People are out there like they're purpose ghost hunting, right? And it's like, well, why don't you start with? You can start with eliminating what you think your purpose is right now. Like, what are you getting up for every single day? What are you doing every single day? Does it fit in who you want to be? Most people put this responsibility of finding their purpose on the world and on everybody else, when really it's inward, right? You're not gonna go look and ultimately find your purpose on accident. You have to go out and know what you need and what fulfills you and what makes you tick. And you have to be able to make sense of it, right? Like, it's almost like trying to fix your car without diagnosing it. How stupid is that, right? Like, if it's your engine, why would you take it by a tire shop?
Advice for a healthy communication in a new relationship after a toxic one.
I think healthy communication starts all the time with starting with communication. What communication is looked at today is not what communication is. there's a difference. Communication is transmission and receiving. Like that's communication. It takes both. And everybody is good at transmitting. That's why so many people prefer text. They prefer text because they can transmit, right? And they don't have to hear the receiving. And so what I would tell you is before you ever throw a dart or sling something back, think about what you're saying before you say it, right? If somebody makes you react when you should respond, which we should all respond, we should never react. We should always respond. Anytime that we react, it just means that we weren't prepared. So anytime that you're off of when you start reacting and not responding, and those are two big things. They're two different things, and you're going to get two different reactions. What I would tell you is look, in every relationship, in every conversation, we all have what I call responsibility tax. And so make sure that you pay your fucking taxes before you start telling somebody else to pay theirs.
I think the same thing goes with our children too, the way we communicate with them.
Yeah, 100%, right? Like communication, there's all types of forms of communication. And, ultimately, I think that people communicate the way that they were taught to communicate, right? It's a nature, it's a nurture, not a nature thing. So how you're taught to communicate is ultimately how you are going to communicate and how you're going to receive. So, being able to understand that is going to allow you to be more effective at whatever you want to accomplish. So, I was talking to a guy this morning, one of my buddies this morning, and, now he's a leader in the fire service. And I'm like, at some, when you weren't a leader, when you were just a firefighter, when you were just a backseater, tailboarder, whatever you want to call it, you obviously started, that's where you create your own standard. You created your standard and you live by your standard. And that's how it was. Right. And, but now, you got to be real careful. And a lot of people who hold high standards, they're not wrong, but let me tell you where they get the bad rap at is they don't over communicate and get people to believe in their standard. You really have to consider why people or what people are raising the standard for. Like, as a leader, you set the standard. Like as a leader, that is your job, is to set the standard and hold the standard. And what you have to do though is people are going to meet that standard. They're either going to meet it because they don't want to get in trouble, or they're going to meet it because they believe in why and what that's going to do to help them for the overall arching mission. And so that's where over communication comes down to, as a leader, of being able to over communicate with their people, of getting them to believe in why they're doing hard shit. And the more you get people to believe in the mission, the more you can get them to raise the standard. We don't have a problem of people wanting to, or this next generation wanting to meet a standard. We have a problem of leaders being able to articulate why it is good for the overall arching organization for them to meet this standard. That's the problem. It's not a problem. Like I see leaders all the time, and I think it's such a loser excuse when I hear leaders say, oh, this next generation's weaker. Well, our grandparents said the same shit about us. We don't have a follower problem. We got a fucking leader problem. And when followers are stronger than leaders, doesn't work.
Question from YouTube. What do you think about the border issues, and how do you think we can fix this issue?
Well, I think the border issues, look, it's out of control, right? It's by far our biggest threat. And it's not our biggest threat because of the people that are crossing it. It's our biggest threat because of the drugs and the fentanyl that's crossing it. The biggest killer inside, the biggest threat to the United States of America is not China, Russia, or any of them. It is the fentanyl problem that's coming across from the cartels on our southern border, period. We see it in our neighborhoods all the time. We see it around here all the time. All this shit is coming from our border. So it's not the fact that we have people crossing it, right? Which I do think that some of them are criminals, right? But it's the majority of them aren't. The majority of them are looking for a better place and a better way to live, because this problem that is now coming here is down there and they're trying to get away from it, which should be a telltale sign that we should fucking do something about it, right? If it was up to me, I would put our troops on the southern border and we would invade Mexico and we would go all the way down to the fucking Panama Canal and we would clean out the fucking cartel and we would build that place up and we would help Mexico and we would help all them down there build an economy without these gangs and all these fucking people down there, these shitheads that are causing them to leave, because they want to stay there. They don't want to leave Mexico. That's their home. We should go down there and make it safe, help them make their home safe. That's what we should do. So, but anyways, other than going to war, not with Mexico, but with the cartel, which will never happen because our politicians are in with them and our banks are in with them. What I would tell you is for me, what we would do on the border is, and I look, I'm giving you a quick generic piece, but I would go about it on a 3-prong approach. First off, it would be zero tolerance. We would have planes, buses, trains, and automobiles going across the border back if you came the wrong way. But what I would tell you before we did that, what we would do is we would for sure secure it physically. We would monitor it to make sure we caught every one of them coming over. But before we did that, we would set up plenty of systems to where they could come over the right way. It would be everywhere. We would have plenty of systems to where safe, law-abiding people could come across the border and have an opportunity to be here. But it's 1 strike, you're out. It's not 3 strikes, you're out, right? Like as soon as you come here and you become a felon, like you're fucking back to Mexico. Like there is no hand, like you could go through the judicial system. As soon as you become a felon, you're back to fucking Mexico. Like that is non-negotiable and you never get a chance to come back here again, period. That would be how I would do it. That is my recommendation on it, right? Like, but I'm telling you, this doesn't work until it should be free for them to do it. And we would have plenty of places for them to be able to come through, and it would be on a system to where maybe they have a year probation system here or whatever, right? And what we would do is there would be plenty of opportunities for them. It shouldn't be over 30 days for them to be able to figure out how to get here.
You've really thought about this, man.
A ton.
This is so thorough.
Well, because it's fucked up to just throw a wall up and say you can't come here, right? I mean, this is the United States of America. We were built on this.
It's facts.
And nobody thinks, if you just think that we should just close the fucking border and all these people coming across are fucking bad, well, you're a fucking idiot.
The Marines, this is from Facebook. The Marines have a huge respect for those who were before them in the Corps. As you know, we idolize past Marines to the point of hanging pictures of them on our walls. Did you ever think you'd be one of those Marines we do an extra pull-up for?
No, and I still don't even think about that, right? It means a lot to me, right? I always look back and wish my legacy was more, right? I wish there was more of an impact. I wish that when I had gotten the medal that I had used that platform at that moment to do a lot more good than what I did. I wish so yeah, I mean, I appreciate that. And I hope that whenever I die, that I am looked at as a positive legacy for the Marine Corps, but I do have a lot of skin in the game for the bad stuff as well.
It's from YouTube. We've got a heavy one. Thoughts on PTSD and victims of violence and assault and how to treat it effectively?
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm not an expert on it, right? But look, what I have to tell you is that PTSD, and we have to change the narrative first off. PTSD, anxiety, and depression they are injuries, not chronic illnesses, right? They are not terminal illnesses. They are not forever. You can, if you fight hard enough, recover. And so, but you have to want to, you have to put the work in, and just going to doctors and looking for somebody else to do it for you isn't going to happen. You're going to have to put some fucking work in, and there are ways to do it. What I would tell you is that, when you find a way to turn your trauma into good is at the point that you start to heal.
How do you move on when your family member has passed? In this instance, it was their mother who passed away.
Well, I think I think that how do you move on when somebody has passed? Well, you first have to, look, you're going to miss them. I mean, I miss my kids when I don't see them for a week. But it's never a bad thing when your parents pass before you do. That's the way it's supposed to happen. And the reality is it's a great thing. You should be celebrating that you miss your mother. You should be celebrating that it does make you sad. That's a good thing. That means that you had a good mom. That means that you cared about her, right? That means that all these things. But, the reality is we're all going to die. And the reality is I don't understand.
Pause.
Hey, it's Dakota with Your Human Podcast.
Hey, how's it going, man?
What's up?
My name's Blake. First off, just want to say Semper Fi.
Semper Fi, brother.
I'm a former Marine as well. I was a Pogue. I was an air winger.
Oh.
But just want to get your thoughts on Dan Crenshaw and his kind of support for red flag laws in America, or red flag laws when it pertains to guns in America.
Yeah. So, here's what I'll tell you. We never get to sit down with them. Like, look, let me tell you something. I've got these idiots out there that say I'm anti-Second Amendment. But I'm not, right? So what I would say is, though, is first off, I ain't gonna comment on him. Like, Dan Crenshaw, as far as like the red flag laws, is like the minimum of the dumb shit that he does, right? So like, I look at Dan as, I don't know what's happened to Dan, right? Let me just say that. I don't know what I believed in him in the beginning. But I just think that Dan could do a lot better, right? If he would just tap his ego out and he would be a little bit more fucking humble, right? But here's what I'll tell you about the gun. Let's just talk about the gun problem, right? Let me ask you this. Do you think we have a gun problem?
I don't think we have a gun problem. I think we have a mental health problem.
Well, I agree with. So I agree with you. You're right. We don't have a gun problem. That was a stupid thing for me to say. We do have we have a people problem, right?
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. At what point, do we look at, and I'm not saying, I think everybody should be able to own a gun, but I also think that it comes with responsibilities to be able to own a gun.
Absolutely. No,
Right.
I agree. And I will say, being a Marine as well, and people give me a lot of shit for this, especially guys that, were in other branches and stuff. And they're like, you're a fucking Marine. You should be pro-supportive of our rights and everything. I do believe that we should have, I wouldn't say a stricter policy or process to obtain a gun,
Yeah.
but at least something there in play to possibly prevent irresponsible people from owning guns. Like more education, more classes, more resources out there so that when you do get a gun, they're not accessible by anyone but the person buying them. There's enough education there to preach the importance of why your teenager shouldn't have access to your gun. And I got a 7-year-old daughter and a 3-year-old daughter. My 7-year-old goes hunting with me. She knows how to use guns. She knows how to use them safely, effectively, and when and not to touch them. And if they're around the house, they're never laying out, but God forbid I ever made that mistake of leaving out, she knows to let me know.
Yep.
But I know, and I'm confident that my child would never be a person that would go and, per se, I don't know, use it in the wrong way. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because you're a good parent, right? And that's and this is the thing is that's the problem that people want to take out, right? You have these people who are like, oh, everybody should be able, well, everybody can own a gun in the United States of America, but you have to follow the fucking law, right? And the problem is and let me get a little bit deeper in this that a lot of people don't want to talk about. The problem is like the law, like, look, if you put your hands on a woman, if you're a man and you have ever been convicted of domestic violence, you should never own a fucking gun again in your entire life. Like you have lost that. If you are like there are, but the problem is, NAICS is fucking outdated. If you get on, like I hear these people talk about this all the time. If you get on Facebook and you put out a manifest or you talk about killing somebody else that you're going to, you shouldn't be allowed to own a gun. That's not free speech. You know what I mean? Like, but you get these people who are like, well, it's free speech. No, it's not. You can't yell fire in a fucking, in a movie theater when there's not a fire, right? And what people are doing is the problem is it's not, we don't have a problem with the Constitution is perfect. The problem is we got these fucking jackasses weaponizing the Constitution.
Yep. Yeah, I agree with that.
And so I don't know. Look, I haven't sat down and talked to Dan Crenshaw because you just can't talk to him. Like, he's the fucking smartest guy in every room. He'll just ask him, he'll tell you. And I love him to death. I mean, I love Dan Crenshaw to death, but like he's gone out there, right? And but what I'll tell you is this whole concept of we're not going to do any, like, this stalemate of this gun problem is literally not the gun problem, but this stalemate that we're not doing anything to hold people accountable to where, hey, you have to do the right thing to be able to own a gun, right? Like, look, it doesn't, obviously it's stupid for like when people are like, oh, weapon magazine capacities and all this shit. Like, those are fucking stupid solutions. But here's what I'll tell you is I don't hear anybody on the gun side in the second in the 2A community coming out with any better fucking solutions. All I hear them doing is shooting down the bad solutions. But I just think at some point we have to police our own.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, you're from Kentucky.
Yeah, man.
Correct?
Yep.
Yeah, I am as well. And that's why I'm like, man, I've always wanted to run into you. Like, I'd love to fucking meet the coach.
Yeah, man.
You know what I mean? Like, I know you've went and like been guest of honors and shit, the balls and stuff. But I mean, in Kentucky at least, you don't see as many, I wouldn't say any, if any, aside from the shit that goes on in Louisville, which Louisville is like its own fucking area.
Yeah.
Really. But you don't see school shootings happen in Kentucky. Not that we're immune to it.
Nope.
Knock on wood. I don't want to.
Yeah, knock on wood.
But you don't see that shit happening. And I think a big factor to play there is, for one, we have constitutional concealed carry. You don't have to go fucking pay the government any more money to carry a fucking gun as your God-given right.
Yep.
And number two, because we've been so openly for guns, even though we're a predominantly Democratic state since the 70s. I mean, we've always had, for the most part, Democratic governors.
For sure.
Recently you had
Matt Bevins.
He shit the bed a little bit, but that's okay.
Yeah, he did.
People fuck up. That's okay.
Yeah.
But anyways, I think that's a big thing is when you try to control gun owners, you're going to have not only rebellious individuals, but the people that want to do bad shit now target that area and say, hey,
well, for sure. Yeah, I mean, look, I mean, you can't argue the fact that, look, that crime is the highest in no gun states, right? Or cities, right? And you can't argue that. I mean, look at fucking New York, look at LA, look at Chicago, right? Like there's no arguing that piece of it, right? I mean, the data is the data, and people can ignore it or not, but the data is the data. It is safer where guns are allowed, which I'm all for. I don't think that there should be a place I don't think that there should be one place in the United States to where anybody can tell us we can't bring a fucking gun if we are a law-abiding citizen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I don't think you should be able to tell me if I can bring it in a courtroom, right? Like I think I should be able to bring it in there if I want to fucking carry my gun. I'm a law-abiding citizen. If I want to take it to church, I'll take it to church. If I want to walk in, I think I should be able to do that, right? Schools, if a teacher wants to carry a fucking weapon, they should be able to carry a fucking weapon if they're a law-abiding citizen, right? Like, do it. I protect my kids. I'm all about it. But law-abiding citizen, you can't go make fucking threats, terroristic threats, or threaten or put, you can't say, I'm going to fucking, I'm going to do this to the president or whatever. You can't say shit if you want to keep your guns, right? I'm not saying you can't say shit, but you can't go threaten other people or put out in social media.
To an extent.
Yeah. I mean, you like there comes responsibilities with it. If you want to be a jackass like that, well, you shouldn't be able to own a gun. You know what I mean? Like you get to pick which one's more important. I have to pick, I have to do this all the time with driving. Do I want to drink or do I want to drive? Do I want to follow the speed limit or do I not? Do I want to go pay my taxes and get my registration and have insurance on my fucking vehicle or do I not, right? Do I want to keep my license and not get speeding tickets or do shit that cause me to lose my license? Everything that I do, I have to there's nothing. I mean, I have to feed my kids or I don't get to keep my kids.
Yeah. Just basic stuff. I was going to ask about the whole school thing because, you have daughters as well. I have 2 daughters, like I said earlier. And my big thing is like, when we go to a school event, dude, I'm fucking on edge constantly.
Yep.
I'm like, can't bring a gun here.
Yep.
There's not anyone here that's fucking on. There's a cop sitting outside and we saw what fucking happened in Uvalde. I don't think that would ever happen in Kentucky. Knock on wood. But
no, because I can tell you this, if the state is, as long as I'm not going to talk about the counties or anything, but what I'm going to tell you is in the state of Kentucky, if a gray fucking car shows up, you will get killed. If you're a bad guy and a gray car shows up, you're getting your ass stomped. Yeah.
I think that, Kentucky is well prepared for that.
Yes.
I think that we wouldn't have that situation, but at the same time that, Marine instinct is, we've always had ourselves and the motherfuckers to our left and right. Yep. And so that's just one of those things that's still in my head. And it might just be a Marine thing. It could be just a different person thing in general. But I fucking hate it because, like, I go in there with my 2 daughters and I'm like, bro, we're sitting ducks in here. Someone wants to come in here and, like, you look at, like, the church Christ shooting in New Zealand.
Yeah.
You have people going to a place of worship and they're fucking just throwing their bodies over their kids while this dude comes in with an AR and just mag dumps on everybody. And it's like, bro, like, let us, carry in places that are most important or most critical.
But guess what, man? Like the reality is you're 100% right. I do worry about schools. I mean, I worry about my kids going to school. We get emails of the threats that come out, right? And the manifestos that come out down here sometimes. And I get it, right? And some of these kids are little shitheads and they like, I'll get calls like, where are you going to keep your kids home? No, because that's how fucking terrorism works. My kids are going to go to school. They're going to go there. I'm going to hope that the school does what the fuck they're supposed to do. We have cops there. We've got great cops. I believe in cops and
Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt.
No. And I'll tell you, like, I love it. Right. And I don't love the threats, but I love that we still have kids going to fucking school and showing these little shitheads, these little mini terrorists that want to, try to impede on my kids being able to go to school and try to make them scared at school. Cause it's like, I'm telling you this, I'm telling you this. If somebody took a gun or shot up my kid's school, they better hope the fucking cops get to them before I do. They better fucking hope that the cops get to them before I do.
Yeah, I mean, I keep a Reddit kit, like, because I'm within, fucking 1,000 feet of my kid's school, and I'm work for myself. I, sell roofs or whatever. I guess I don't know how to explain it, but I work for a roofing company and I'm a project manager. But anyway, I keep a Reddit kit. I got level 4 fucking plates ready to go.
Oh yeah.
Level 3 plus helmet, a rifle at 300 blackout suppressed. And I mean, I got fucking 6 mags in pouch and 1 stays in rifle.
Hell yeah.
Like, it's ready to go in case that we have to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Man, and God forbid, I don't know that I would find out before the fucking cops did because, you know, it's an emergency, but I've always told my kid's teacher, hey, you know, this sounds crazy and I don't want to seem like a nut, but I'm within running distance of that school. I can run a fucking 880 there in less than 2 minutes. Right?
Hell yeah.
Less than 3 minutes.
And you know,
like I'll be out of fucking breath, but I'll be there.
Hey, and you know what I hope for? You know why I send my kids to school?
Why is that?
Because I know that there's motherfuckers like you living 1,000 feet away from that school.
Well, hopefully they're in all areas. And I said, you know, I fucking shoot all the time. I beat myself up sometimes. It's like that 50-50 blade with going to the Marine Corps and not going ground side. And even if I had it, I would have just hated my life because I joined in 2014 and we had no conflict from 2014 to 19 when I got out. So it was kind of pointless, and I would have got out with really nothing other than saying I fucking shot guns in the Corps. But you know, I try to stay well prepared.
Dude, you don't have to. I mean, you don't have to fucking. You don't. I mean, it doesn't matter what your job is. Like, you know what I mean? It doesn't matter your air winger. It doesn't. Yeah. I mean, it doesn't. I mean, listen. At the end of the day, I can tell you that there's guys who were infantry guys who were in combat that can't shoot a fucking lick today because they ain't shot since they got out.
That's fair. Yeah.
And they're fat. And I'll tell you this, there's a lot of these guys I served with that couldn't fucking run that 880 because they're fucking so fat and out of shape.
True. Very true. I was going to say, in America, at least, I would love to see a country, you know, I think you've said it before, a post 9/11 country, obviously eliminate that 9/11 incident, but I'd love to see another patriotic, loving, fucking together post 9/11 country again.
It's coming.
Especially when it comes to those terroristic fucking threats, that instead of people calling and saying, hey, we're going to keep our kids home from school, hey, we're going to shut down the school day, we're going to do this. Instead, in America, of all fucking places, we should be meeting terrorism with open arms. Like, come on. You made this threat. Come to the fucking door. Come to the school.
Hey,
we're waiting for you.
Dude,
we'd love for this to fucking happen. Like, make our day.
Hey, you quote me. It's happening. It's happening right now. Like, as you, like, we don't have a problem of too many bad people. We have a problem of too many good people not willing to stand up and tell their story to overpower the bad people.
Yeah. I agree with that. I won't hold you up anymore. I just have one more quick topic before you go.
Yeah.
How do you feel about, because you look at the way medical marijuana has been going in country and in the world in general, and the studies they've been doing with PTSD and Southside and all that shit, especially for veterans. And I wouldn't even say especially for veterans, but for Americans in general. How do you feel about marijuana and gun ownership at the same time? Because it's a gray area for sure, because some states are like, you know, just because you're trying to help yourself with something that's not fucking made by a big pharmaceutical company doesn't mean you forfeit your right to guns. But at the same time, at the federal level, it's a controlled substance. It's an instant felony. Yeah.
So look, we gotta figure that out, right? So here's what I'll tell you is I don't think that if you're at home, I don't think that anybody should be able to tell you what you put in your body. If you want to do heroin at your house, I mean, you should fucking have at it, right? Like, I don't think that anybody should be able to tell anybody what, I mean, the only difference between street drugs and prescription drugs is the fact that Big Pharma has fucking found a way to eliminate the competition because they guarantee to get paid, and then they've got the government believing to put everybody else in jail. So like that piece of it, like I think it's fucking stupid. I think the biggest, you know, the dumbest thing that we do in this country is drug reform, right? Was whenever we put people in jail for drugs. Now, let me follow on with that. If you are fucking around with a gun while you're under the influence of alcohol, marijuana, or any fucking drug, you should go to prison. If you are driving a vehicle while you're under the influence of any fucking drug, you should go to fucking prison, right? So like at the point, if you want to sit at home, if you are high as a kite and fucked up while your kids are there, you should go to fucking prison, right? Like, so I don't care what you do. I just think that at the point you start pushing this or you start being irresponsible and getting other people and it starts getting in the way of your responsibilities, you're fucked, right? Like if you're supposed to be taking care of these kids, which I don't think you should be able to be wasted and have your kids, right? Like I don't think that should be okay. I don't think you should be able to get high and be watching and in charge of the children that are yours, right? Like I think that's crazy. I mean, I just ran a call, on a kid that hit, that was had a bad 4-wheeler wreck. Her parents were fucked up, and it's like, you should go to fucking prison. So like, I don't care what you do. If you want to sit at home and drink, do heroin all day long, have at it. Have at it. But at the point to where other people start doing it, or you start influencing, like you start pushing that on other people, like I think you're that's at the point where the law should protect to make sure that you don't hurt other people or put other people in danger. Yep.
The freedom to do things until you infringe on others' freedom to do
100%.
Cool. All right, man. Well, won't hold you up anymore.
Appreciate you, bro. I hope you have a good day. I hope I run into you someday.
Yeah, for sure. I didn't think you'd answer this quick, so that's why it's kind of fucking weird at the beginning. But Semper Fi, man, have a good one. Stay safe out there.
Semper Fi, man. Take care.
What an awesome caller. That was epic.
That dude was smart.
Got a comment from YouTube. That's a lot of go to prison talk for the free country we have here.
Well, I mean, call in.
Call in, bro.
Call in.
Call in. You got the number. It's
512-523-5609. What's his name?
It's alias.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Of course. A lot of prison.
Yeah, that was epic. Great conversation there. A great caller. Love that. And love that point of view as well. Got a question from IG. What is your why, and does it stay the same or does it evolve over time?
Well, I think it's always evolving. I mean, I think like, us as people, we're always evolving, right? Like, if you're not if you're not constantly dialing in and sharpening that sword, well, you're really just staying stagnant, right? So like, you're not getting better. You have nothing to strive to be at, right? And so, I mean, it's constantly changing, evolving.
That's great. In what ways did the Marine Corps positively shape your mindset?
I mean, honor, courage, commitment, right? They're 3 simple words, but they all have meaning. And if everything you do is through the lens of that, trying to hit that mark, you're going to win. You're going to be successful. You're going to do the right thing, right? And doing the right thing doesn't mean it's easy. But yeah, I mean, the Marine Corps gave me opportunities to grow that at an exponential speed that most people go their whole life wondering if they could do, right? The Marine Corps gave me opportunities to grow and fail at levels that most people will never put themselves in. And so, that was what the Marine Corps taught me.
What is your current passion project?
Again, it's Own the Dash, right? Like building a community to make people better, to go out and just have conversations and to be able to, I've got this new product coming out, Dash Hydrate. I got this new book coming out, Why to What, being able to share, I think you get to a point to where, in the beginning of life, you're just there to get experiences, right? Like you're fucking in the ring, getting your ass kicked. And then at some point you start to get up here and you start to teeter over and it's your turn to take those experiences that you learned and start fucking teaching. Right. And then, but you can only teach for as long as you stay in the arena. Right. Because the problem is if you're not still in the arena, you're teaching a technique that's behind the curve.
Yeah, it's outdated. You got to update the programming, the software. It's like getting a new phone. You got to do that
every day.
How do you spend your free time? Do you have free time?
Yeah, I feel like honestly, I get up every day and I'm like, I don't do enough. Every single day I get up and I'm like, I don't do enough. So I try to get myself busier every single day. But in my free time, like I just train. Like literally, I'm getting ready to, as soon as we're done with this, I got emails to send for the next 3 hours. And then I got to drive to Georgetown and I'm doing live fire training tonight for 3 or 4 hours. And then coming back home and getting up in the morning and tomorrow I'm going to get up at 4:30 and I'm going to run 1 miles. So 4 miles. And then I'm going to ride my bike for 45 minutes. And then I'm going to lift and work. I'll do all of that before probably 7 a.m. And then I'm going to work all day. And then I got meetings in the morning. I mean, yeah, all day.
Opinionated question. This is from YouTube. This is Blake. And our previous caller was from YouTube. But what would you consider is the best concealed carry gun that you recommend? I carry the Hellcat RDP.
Yeah, I don't know what that is, but yeah, I mean, whatever you're used to shooting, right? I mean, a gun is like a tool. To me, like I look at guns as, you know, they're just like what's your favorite hammer? For me, I love 9mm. I love the 9mm round. I love it for the main reason is you can, you know, usually the mag capacities, you can hold more 9mm than you can any of the others. And so the more shots that you have, the more likely you're gonna be able to engage that target and eliminate it and to neutralize that target. So for me, especially, you know, that I prefer the 9mm round, and anything in the 9mm round is something that, you know, is something that I like. I love Glocks because they're simple. Because when you squeeze the trigger, they go bang, right? And which is all those things are really important if you're in a gunfight, you know. But a lot of people just want to look like they're ready for a gunfight. They don't want to. They don't want to be ready for one. Big difference.
Big difference. Question from IG. What actually gets you out of bed in the morning?
My alarm clock. Yeah, every morning, right? I mean, none of us want to get out of bed. I mean, I slept in this morning, right? I went to bed late, which is an excuse. I slept in this morning. I didn't feel good. And you know what? The longer I laid there, the worse I fucking felt. And then I was pissed off that I didn't just get up at 4:30, right? Like I just kept thinking, well, if I lay here another 10 minutes, I'm going to feel better. And I just kept feeling fucking worse and worse and worse. And it was like anchors were just, every 10 minutes was like another anchor that was just holding me there. And it was like, man, you're such an idiot. You should have just got up at 4:30 and got started.
To Blake, he was talking about Georgetown, Texas. I guess there's a Georgetown, Kentucky. So people thought you were training there tomorrow.
Yeah, Georgetown, Texas.
Yeah.
Tonight.
Heathen from YouTube says, why is America filled with cowards who allow their government to run them over and not be held accountable for their criminal actions?
I don't know that they are.
I guess he's talking about like the Hunter Bidens of the world and shit like that.
I mean, yeah. You know, look, at some point, all of us have done something that in the eyes of, they looked hard enough, they could find a way to say that we did something fucking wrong. Like, that's the way it is. Not to the level of corruption of like those shitheads, but they started this. Like, I don't feel sorry for Hunter fucking Biden at all. I don't like, what did they expect? You know, the Democrats wanted to go after Donald Trump. They went after him. But you can't throw fucking rocks when you live in a glass house. You know what I mean? Like how does someone, I mean, you look at it, it doesn't add up. It doesn't fucking add up. And when you look at this money and you look at this corruption, I will tell you this, you know, we've still got people out there believing that the Hunter Biden laptop is not real. It's fucking real. You know, and I'll tell you, like, I believe that Hunter Biden is going to go to prison. Do believe it. And I hope that his father If Biden was taking money, like, they should be held accountable. Fuck yeah, have at it. Hold them accountable. If Donald Trump is found guilty in the court of law, well, that's the fucking way it goes, right? Like, do I think some of these things are fucking stupid? I do. And I hope and pray that our judicial system does what our judicial system does, and it eliminates the dumb shit, right? We'll see. I do think it's a very dangerous place, though, to where we have politically charged and are using our judicial system for politics, right? Like, I think it for political agenda. I think it's a very dangerous thing. And how do we come back from this is the bigger question. How does this stop?
Hunter from YouTube says, "Bummer to share a name with that idiot." What has been the highlight? What has been the highlight of this past week for you?
I don't know. I don't know. Listen, I don't know.
What about this year, 2023?
I don't know. I get to wake up listen, I wake up every day and have the best day of my life. So, every day's a highlight to me. Every day's a highlight reel. You know what I mean? I don't know. I can't even remember what I did last week. So, like, I just, because I don't think about it. I don't think about it. You choose what you think about.
What motivates you to work so hard?
I don't think I work that hard. I just think that I just do what I can. You know what I mean? And so, the more you can do, the more you do, right? And it's all momentum. It's all fucking momentum. And so if you just get the ball rolling, like, it's just momentum, and you start when you can get aligned with doing shit and your work being something you believe in, it doesn't mean that it's all, roses and rainbows. It's hard. It's hard every fucking day. I do shit I don't want to do every day. I deal with people I don't want to deal with every single day. But when the mission and what you're trying to achieve, when you believe in that with everything, you can deal with a lot more shitty people and a lot more shitty things. And those things don't affect you as much when you know where you're going, right? Like, that's the good part.
What qualities do you look for in a friend?
Honesty, right? Authentic. Like, I don't need yes people around me. I need people that tell me, hey, you're fucked up. Like, and I'll tell you this, I look at my friends and I ask myself, do I want to be like them? And if I don't say yes, then they're not my friends.
What do you look forward to every day?
Getting up and getting after it.
Do you think people are mostly good or mostly evil, and why?
Oh, people are good. Majority of people are good. Less than 10% are bad. Now, I think that, we look at people and we say, because of where they're at, that they're not good people, right? We're talking about two different things. Like, are their actions good or are they good people? They're two different things. And, I think that we only get a small glimpse into people's lives sometimes. And sometimes we let that define who they are. And imagine being a cop. Like, would you think that the majority of people are bad if you're a cop? Yeah. Because all you're dealing with is fucking bad people. Right. So what I would tell you is perception's not reality, but sometimes reality is built off perception. And so, or reality. And so I would tell you to get out. No, majority of people are great. Majority of people are great. Nurses and doctors would, if they just truly went off of what they spent the majority of their time with, they would think that everybody's sick. It's not true. The world is great. People are great. Americans are great. The majority of people are good.
Where do you find inspiration?
I'm surrounded by it. I mean, I'm surrounded by it. And the best way to find inspiration is to eliminate and get rid of shit that is not inspiring.
What is your definition of success?
Just, I think we answered this one, but like, the definition of success is the impact that you leave on the world.
If you had 1 month left to live, how would you spend it?
That's not fit for this show. I don't know. I mean, I think if I had 1 month to live, like, I'd probably get rid of a lot of bad people.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Why wait?
Well, I mean, because you can have an influence to go ahead and get, help good people. No, I'm saying take them out.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
I got you.
I'm saying take them out.
Yeah.
So why wait? Well,
yeah. Sorry. Yeah, no.
Because it would suck to do it. And then, they're like, oh man, we got the wrong chart.
Oh, no. Man, you're funny. What's the most rewarding aspect of being a firefighter?
Just being what people need you to be when they need you to be it, right? It's always a challenge. It's always being able to, share these moments with people, sometimes in their worst moments, and hopefully make them just a little bit better, right? When you talk about the easiest way to have an impact on somebody's life, I mean, be a firefighter. Like look, you don't have to wonder if they need you or not. They call you to tell you, and then you just have to show up and make it better. It's a fucking badass job.
Do you believe in second chances?
Yeah, I mean, look, we all have second chances. I mean, like there are some things that like I don't think you come back from with a person, but I mean, it doesn't mean that you can't go do the next right thing somewhere else.
If you could snap your fingers and make the world a better place, what would you do?
I mean, I think if we turned off, I think if we started just holding people accountable to what they say and did, like that would fix everything.
Accountability, that fixes
Accountability
everything.
fixes everything.
What's the most important lesson you've learned in the last year?
I don't know. I learn them every day. I learn them every single day.
I'm getting asked, even though we've answered this before, what made you leave Kentucky and go to Texas? Seems like there's a lot of vets that are doing the same thing.
Texas is awesome. Texas is the best state in America. Love this place. I tell people all the time I'm from Kentucky, but I got to Texas as soon as I could. It's a great place to raise my kids. They're patriotic. I mean, I feel safe. I feel safe in Texas. Texas is a great state. I love it. I think it's really the epitome of America. When I look around Texas, it's like what I fought for. You can show up here and be whatever you want to be. You can, identify as whatever you want to identify as. You can marry who you want to marry, and nobody gives a shit. Like, just don't make me like, you believe what you want to believe. I'll believe what I want to believe. But like at the end of the day, like we're all here coexisting and doing good for the world. Like that's why I love the state of Texas. It's one of those places where it's like, be whatever you want to be. Nobody cares. I'll respect you as a human being. And I don't have to agree with you, but like, I can still respect you. And like, I feel like that's what Texas is about. And so it's an awesome, awesome place. But listen, I hope you all have a great week. What an awesome, awesome show. We'll be getting back after it next week. Christmas is coming up. Don't fucking buy anybody presents. Fuck it. Hope you all have a great week. Keep owning it.